preschoolers and grown-ups. Today for our science activity, we are going to go ice fishing, but you won't have to even leave your house. So in really cold places where lakes freeze over, people have to go out and bundle up in their biggest, warmest coat, cut a hole into ice, and then fish for fish that way. Here it never really gets that cold, but in some states it certainly does. So today we are going to ice fish ourselves, but we're not going to catch fish, we're going to catch ice cubes. So for this experiment, you're just going to need a glass. I'm using a bowl just so I can show you, but you want to just use a regular drinking glass. You'll want to have some water, so I'll fill up my water for you. There we go. You'll want some food dye. This will help you see the ice cubes a little bit better. And some ice. So ice here. I'll add my food dye first, actually. Add my food dye. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just so my water turns nice and blue. Tilt you down so you can see a little bit better. Perfect. Some ice, which I can add now. For yours, I would say maybe do 5 ice cubes. I'm gonna do a little bit more just because I'm showing you how to do it. I'm actually learning how to do it along with you. I have not tried this before this video. Sometimes I like to test stuff out to make sure it works, but sometimes, just like scientists, it's important to troubleshoot if you have a problem while you're doing it. So I'll add, so far I've added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ice cubes. So you can see that my ice cubes are floating right there on top. And then you're going to need some string. So I have lots of different kinds of string here. I have some yarn. I have this kind of, I don't know, burlappy string. I'm not sure where I even got this from. I have some embroidery floss. I have a whole bag of it actually. So usually when you buy this, you get lots of colors at once. So I have black, but maybe I'll use yellow just so I can show you a little bit easier, because yellow is going to stand out really well against that blue water. So I have yellow embroidery floss, and I also have some different kind of funky yarn too. So some more simple yarn and some funky yarn. We're going to try to fish for our ice cubes. So I'll use just my yellow embroidery floss first and see if just using my string I can catch an ice cube. So let's see. I have my string in there. Nothing's really happening, preschoolers. Nothing at all, actually. It's just kind of sitting right on top of that ice. Well, I can't grab it at all. So I know a trick, and this is how we're actually going to fish for ice. This is also the last ingredient you're going to need for this experiment, and it's just salt. Simple, easy peasy, simple salt. So, maybe before I do salt, I'm going to try all my strings. Maybe just this yellow string isn't working really well. I'll try my other strings first. So, this one can push the ice better. It's a little bit more rigid, but I still can't catch any ice cubes. So, yellow string didn't work, and my tan string didn't work. Let's try this kind of more plain yarn. I have a piece cut here. Well, that didn't work any better, right? Do you see me pulling up any ice cubes? Nope. And my funky string, let's see if that works. I'll cut off a piece of that. Got my funky string. I'm going to make a prediction, preschoolers. I don't think that this string is going to work any better than my other strings, but let's try. Oh, it touches the surface really well. It kind of clings to it, but nothing comes up when I pull it up. So, our magic ingredient for this experiment is salt. So, all you really need is water, ice cubes, salt, and string. But salt's the most important thing. So let's take our first yellow string, and we're gonna fish for ice cubes, but we're gonna lay the string on top first. So I'm gonna choose this ice cube here, and I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt on top. So, whoops, it fell out of my bowl. Put my string here. Turn it so you can see, perfect. Add a little bit of salt right on top there. And now I'm just gonna wait for a little bit. In the meantime, I'm gonna wait for about a minute. In the meantime, while you're waiting for your own string to freeze to your ice, you can look all over your house and find different kinds of strings. So Mom might have some yarn, maybe you can borrow some of Dad's dental floss, maybe you have embroidery floss like this that you can use, all sorts of different strings that you can use. I don't know which one's gonna work best. And the other teacher that showed me this, she didn't really say what kind either. She said that our job was to experiment and find out which one would work the best. And while I'm waiting for that one, maybe I can set up a different experiment with a different string. So I'm gonna try my funky purple string here with the kind of the tassels to it, and I'm gonna try putting it over this ice cube here. I still can't pull it out, so I'm gonna try my ice trick. I'll lay my string on top, add some ice, and see if that helps. In the meantime, I think it's ready to pull up my yellow string with my ice. Let's count to 3 and see if it works. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, look at that. Isn't that super cool? So, whoops, I only put ice on one of the ice cubes. I think that's why it fell, because the other ice cube was a little bit heavy. But that is so cool. I managed to pick it up, and I think if the ice cubes hadn't have stuck together because of the water, I could have totally pulled it out of the ice. So I think that is a successful ice fishing experiment. So far, we know that the yellow string could work. Let's try our purple string now. There's 2 ice cubes attached to this one too. Sometimes ice likes to cling together in your glass. Maybe you've noticed that before if you've had juice or a soda that has ice in it. Sometimes the ice cubes together. So let's try with this purple string again. Oh, it got 1 that time. How cool. Just that magic of the ice, plus the salt in that water. So I'm gonna pick this up and put it over here so it's out of my way. And let's try one more string. So really, the amount of ice cubes you have in your cup is how many times you can do this experiment. So if you have 5 ice cubes, you can try this 5 different times. My ice, if you can see, not the best setup, I know, but it works for Zoom so far. My ice is kind of melting, so you'll want to use sort of cold water. I used medium tap water, not super cold, so that's probably my mistake there. I should use extra cold water next time. So I'll try again with this string. Doesn't work. It's a bummer, but I know my trick now with my salt, so I can lay my yarn on top, add a little bit. I wonder how much salt is the best amount of salt to use. When you try this at home, preschoolers, you'll have to experiment with different amounts of salt. So is there too much salt you can add that makes it not work? Or is there not enough salt and that makes it not work? I can see already, I'll show you this, that my ice is already starting to kind of melt with my salt. And my string is just in between 2 of those things happening. So this hasn't been very long. Let's see if it works. Oh, so my prediction was that maybe that didn't work that time because I didn't wait long enough. So let's try it again, and I'll be a little more patient and see if I can make my yarn stick again with the same amount of salt if I'm just a little more patient. Whoops, this one doesn't want to stick. I think that ice cube is not wanting to be picked up. So I will cut off the end of my string because it's got some salt on it, and I'll try a different ice cube. So put my string on top of that ice cube. If I can show you better. Oops. Like so. Add my salt on top. And we wait. looks like the salt is working pretty quick, huh? And I can see at the bottom, I don't know if you can, that all of the extra salt is falling to the bottom of my bowl. So as you're doing this, and what I should have done for you behind me is have a tracking sheet like a scientist would to track which string works best and which string works the worst, and how much salt I should use and how long I should wait. That way I'm collecting data like a real scientist, and I could tell my other scientist friends all of my results. So I can see from mine, now there are 3 ice cubes stuck together. I don't know if we can pull this one up. I'm not sure my salt is strong enough, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Hopefully not too much, I'm not sure, and see if the extra salt that's going to freeze to my ice cube allows me to pull up 3 ice cubes at once. It's amazing that this salt here that we put on our food sometimes can do that. I had no idea until I found this experiment. So let's count down from 10, and then we'll see if it works. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see if it froze. Oh, it tried. Well, that's kind of how science works. Sometimes our experiments work and sometimes they don't. Maybe it's just this yarn. I don't think I got any ice cubes to pull up with that yarn, but it did work with my fancy yarn. In fact, the ice cube, if you can see, is still stuck to this yarn. I didn't think this yarn was going to work at all. And actually, it's stuck to the little fringy pieces, not even the main piece. That's how strong that salt was. And it also worked with my yellow string. So I hope that you guys can give this a try. Hopefully it's pretty easy with just salt and ice and string, and I can't wait to see which string you tried worked the best. Have a great day, preschoolers, and I'll see you soon.